Dr. Carla Earhart. I'm a professor in the Residential Property Management program, which is in the Department of Family and Consumer Sciences at Ball State. The project that I received the Creative Teaching Grant for was Reflections of the American Housing Dream. It was a class that I created where students were guided to learn more about housing options through everyday objects. They investigated art objects, photography, household objects, music, movies, TV shows, even the news media, to see what kind of housing information was out there, focusing on the concept of what's called housing norms. Housing norms being the pressure to be a homeowner, the pressure to live in a single-family detached house, as opposed to an apartment or renting a place to live. And so the students were guided in discovering for themselves how housing norms are represented in our society. I heard about the Creative Teaching Grant in the past. In fact, I had actually had another Creative Teaching Grant early on when I was a new faculty member at Ball State, and recently stepped down from an administrative role. I had previously been the director of the Residential Property Management program, but had come to a time in my career when I wanted to step back and do more with the students, to do more teaching, to do more research. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking maybe a Creative Teaching Grant is the way to go. Maybe that's the way I can get started in being more in the classroom. And so it just so happened that simultaneous to my thinking, we received an email about the Creative Teaching Grant and those opportunities. As I read the guidelines, I wasn't absolutely sure that what I wanted to do would fit with the guidelines, but I will say that the committee was wonderful in helping me understand those guidelines. I would encourage any faculty member who is thinking about a Creative Teaching Grant and has questions, just go to the committee, go to the Office of Educational Excellence and ask your questions, because it ended up that what I wanted to do was in fact in line with the goals of the Creative Teaching Grant. The idea from my grant actually came from multiple situations. I serve on the University Core Curriculum Committee, and I was seeing a need for a Tier 3 course for a lot of students in the core curriculum. At the same time, with the current housing situation, I was seeing that college students need greater exposure to housing issues. There's just so much foreclosure going on in the state of Indiana, in the Midwest, and in fact the U.S. Nationwide. And so I wanted to expose students to some housing issues, and it seemed like creating a course that could potentially be a Tier 3 University Core Curriculum course was a wise use of the Creative Teaching Grant funds. What I was able to do with the Creative Teaching Grant was to hire a student assistant. I could have put all of this together myself, but it would have taken a lot more time. I was able to hire a student assistant who had background knowledge of housing issues, who has an interest in teaching at the college level himself someday, and also has some web design experience. And a part of my project is also putting together photos and stories of some of the housing objects that we found, putting that into a website. And so this student assistant's expertise was very valuable and has allowed me to jumpstart the project and accomplish things in a lot faster way than I could have done it myself. I would say to outline your proposal early on. Start early with your idea. Make an outline of what you want to do. Share it with your colleagues. Share it with colleagues within your own department. Share it with colleagues outside your department. Ball State has a large number of faculty who do an excellent job in the classroom, and those individuals are more than willing to look over grant proposals, to give you advice. Veteran faculty members who've been in your shoes early on in their career, and they want to be helpful. I have I've been at Ball State for 20 years, and I know early on other faculty members were very helpful to me. And after 20 years, not only am I still writing grant proposals myself, but I am serving as a mentor for new faculty members who may be writing grant proposals for the Creative Teaching Grant Project or other grant projects. So I would say that call on your peers, call on other faculty in your own department or across campus, because I think faculty want to help other faculty. I think faculty can be creative if they allow themselves to be creative. There's a risk involved, and I think for me that was probably the biggest challenge of I've never done this before. What will I do if it doesn't work? Because you don't want to fail, but I think that's what the Creative Teaching Grant gives you the opportunity to try. If you fail, then at least you've learned from your mistakes and you can try something new another time. But I think that's what the Creative Teaching Grant is for, is to allow you to experiment with different kinds of topics, different types of teaching methods, and then learn from your mistakes. Since I've been here for 20 years, I think some of my own material was getting dry, was getting a little dated. I really needed to jumpstart my own career. I knew that stepping down as director of the residential property management program, I needed to do something different. I wanted to be with students more, I wanted to be in the classroom more, and so for me it was a way to jumpstart a new phase of my career, to spend more time with students, to spend more time in the classroom. But what I was also able to do was to tie it to my research. I've already had some presentations related to housing norms at a national and an international conference. I love doing that research, but I wanted to get students involved in that research as well. And so the Creative Teaching Grant allowed me this summer to bring in my own research, share it with the students, and now we'll end up going full circle because one of the students from the summer class did such an outstanding job on his final project in the class that we're now looking for outlets for his research, either as a presentation or a publication in a journal or a trade publication. So that's what I have really enjoyed, is taking my research, bringing it into the classroom, and now the students are doing research related to those very topics.